Greetings, Stammers. Today I'm going to make an English version of a video that I already made in Portuguese. That's my first language. Sorry. And here I'm going to show you this awesome new Digimon card game that came up in 2020. So this is called Digimon Card Battle 2020 or Digimon Card Game 2020, and it was released back in Japan. It's releasing, I guess, in America, and it's been already, since I made this video, it's been already the 7th collection. I'm remaking this video because the first one had a bit of a mess with my voice changer that I was using for other videos, but whatever, let's do it. This series of videos will show you guys not how to play, but the traits and perks and skills and abilities of the Digimon, and the absolutely good care the developers gave to this card game, translating the anime and games and other media's Digimon's abilities to the card game. And that's what I'm going to show you. So first, the all famous War Greymon, the final form of Agumon from the Digimon Adventures 1. Here you get this guy. Do you remember? He's really powerful and aggressive. His powers is really offensive. He goes all out in offense, so he is really strong. And by here he has a skill that show us his power. In your turn, for every 2 evolution cards that this Digimon has, it gains security +1. This is a trait of the red cards. It appears in other colors as well, but the red cards are the ones that most use this trait of security attack +1. I'm going to explain some of the rules. You actually start the game with 5 security cards, and each security card is kind of like a shield for your player. If you have no security cards left and you take on an attack, game over. So you have to be protected by your security cards. And usually a Digimon attack, any Digimon attack, regardless its DP, that its power, the Digimon will remove 1 for each attack. But War Greymon can actually remove 3 if he has the full evolution line, you know, and that makes him really powerful. But that's not all. I'm going to show you more. Here, Dokimon, or Gallantmon in the Europe, I guess. And Gallantmon is actually a royal knight and a holy warrior. A knight that uses, despite being a virus type, it's a light guy, a light used, and a hero that punishes evil. So it shows up his powers of punishing evil right here. First of all, When digivolving, if you have a red tamer in play, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6000 GP or less. That makes him able to crush some of the weaker Digimons of the opponent and even pierce through the blockers, deleting them before they can block, showing his power, the power of his almighty lance. But only with the help of a tamer, showing that the Dokimon needs to have a tamer like in Digimon 3. So the other attack says if your opponent, when attacking, you may trash one of your opponent's security cards for every 10 cards on their trash. And that's even way more powerful than War Greymon, because War Greymon can actually check for one or two more when he attacks, but he can be defeated in security checks. Dokimon actually instantly removes the card, not triggering its effect. And also, to show that he is the one that punishes evil, he gains this power because of the opponent's trash. The trash in the game is the discard pile, the graveyard, whatever you wanna call, but in this card game it's called trash, where you discard your cards after being destroyed, killed, deleted in this case. And usually the purple color cards are kind of necromancers that manipulate the trash, and almost all of them are demon or evil Digimon. So the mechanics of the purple Digimon are usually fulfilling the trash so they can manipulate the trash, and if they do, they will be punished by the righteous Gallantmon, because for each 10 cards they will lose one security card when it attacks. And even if it chooses to attack an opposite Digimon and not attack the security directly. So this guy is really powerful, especially against purple. Here comes to Dobrickmon, one of the Bagra army generals from Digimon Cross Wars. This guy was the first big boss on Digimon Cross Wars second season, and he's really powerful. He was really powerful back then, and he was the first head that showed up a darkness crossloader, a device that could force other Digimon to digifuse or digicross with him, and even if they don't want to. So he shows up the power here by the card. Its effect says when attacking, you may trash one of your own Digimon from your hand to trash to gain the trashed card's DP for this Digimon. So you, for example, if you trash Gallantmon to give its power to Dobrickmon, Dobrickmon will gain 11,000 DP more, reaching 22,000 DP. That's a lot, because even the almighty Omnimon doesn't reach 20,000 DP. So this guy is really powerful. It eats other Digimon to become stronger for the turn, and it's really cool when they show up their anime abilities on the card game. Next is Ancient Greymon, the very first dragon Digimon on the lore. He was the first Greymon, the the first dragon, the ancient Grand Dragon, one of the 10 legendary warriors that saved the Digimon world back then. They were made with data, the same data that the Digimon world was made. All 10 of them. And this guy has the power of flames. When and it shows up in his abilities, all his abilities has on its lore, because in your turn, for each card in this Digimon's evolution cards that contains Greymon in its name, or it has a hybrid on its form, it gains security attack +1. So it's the same kind of the same power of War Greymon, because this guy was actually the first Greymon. And after his death, his power was passed to all the dragon Digimon, and especially the Greymon species. So that's why War Greymon has kind of the same powers, because in the lore, War Greymon inherited the power of Ancient Greymon. And also, when Ancient Greymon and all the other ancient Digimon from the legendary 10 warriors were dead, they split their spirit in two parts, creating the Digi spirits of each element, and one human form and a beast form. So the other ability that Ancient Greymon has, and all the other ancient Digimon has, is on deletion you may play one red level 4 or lower Digimon card with hybrid on its form from your hand without paying its memory cost. That shows you that ability that I just told you, that when he died, he splitted himself into two different spirits, a human form and a beast form, and both are hybrid forms and level 4s, so you can easily call them as you please to show that he left behind the spirits. And I bring here two of the spirits, Flamemon, that is the rookie form or the child form, the child level of the Spirit of Fire. It's an Agnimon's weakened version, so it's a level 3 and a hybrid. And here is Agnimon, the warrior of fire, the human Digispirit of fire that inherited Ancient Greymon's powers. So this guy here is from Digimon Frontier, the 4th season of the Digimon anime series, and in that series the humans could digivolve into Digimons using the spirits. So Agnimon in the card has this ability. You may digivolve this card from your hand onto one of your red tamers as if the tamer were a Digimon level 3. So you can evolve one of your tamers into Agnemon, because he could do that in the anime. And that's another example, that's another great example that shows the care that the developers are taking on making the card game resembles the abilities of the Digimon in the series. Another Digimon, famous Digimon from the series is Shoutmon D-Cross. It's the fusion of Shoutmon, Omega Shoutmon, and Greymon from the same series, the Digimon Cross Wars. And here you can see that he can digivolve on a level 5 as normally a level 6 can do, and it can also digivolve on top of another level 6, because it can evolve on top of Greymon, for example, to resemble its fusion, their fusion. And Shoutmon D-Cross has two abilities, and I'm going to talk about the second one first. When digivolving, you may place one red Digimon from your hand at the top of this Digimon's Digivolution cards. Then, for each Omni Shoutmon or Greymon in its evolution cards, it deletes one of your opponent's Digimon with 5000 DP or less. So that shows Shoutmon's power to bring other Digimons to himself, to empower himself doing his Digicrosses and Digifusions in America. And that's amazing, because you can actually pull down your Omega Shoutmon and give him his inherited ability, giving him the power of the Omnimon security attack +1, and Greymon can power it up, and it also has an ability that is red card only, call it Advance. Sometimes this ability also come as Blitz. Is this Advance or Blitz are the same ability, but it's kind of a translation thing. Anyway, this ability just says that you can attack even if your memory meter passes by 1. That is usually you can't. So it makes this Digimon really aggressive and fast. You can digivolve and attack at the same turn, even if you don't have enough memory. So that makes this Digimon really powerful, just like he is in the anime. He's a boss. And also, I want to show you Omni Shoutmon or Omega Shoutmon that has an ability to digivolve directly from the Shoutmon, despite being a level 5 and Shoutmon being level 3. In this card game, you can't jump over levels. You can't digivolve from level 3 to level 5 or 6. You can only digivolve from level 3 to level 4, and then to level 5, then to level 6. You have to follow the order. But this card says you can ignore this. You can evolve into Omni Shoutmon on top of a Shoutmon card if you have it in play. And that's what he does in this series. So, because Shoutmon doesn't have his actual canon level 4. He digivolves straight to level 5. And here I will first show Durundamon, that is one of the Legend Arms members, a group of Digimon that can transform themselves into mighty weapons and be even held by other Digimons. Durandamon's lore says that he sharpened his blades to the brink where they could cut through anything. So he's the strongest sword among the legend arms. And to show this power in the card game, it can pass by the ability of piercing that makes you pass through the defenses of your opponent when this Digimon attacks and deletes an opponent's Digimon and survives the battle. It performs any security checks it should normally do. So you can pass through your opponents after defeating them and still crush the shields of your opponents. But that's an inherent ability. That means that only the ones that are holding Durundamon as swords can have this power. And despite being a black card, I came to this. I bring Durundamon to this list because he can digivolve on top of a red Digimon and also has part on another Digimon that is actually red, and he's another member of the Legend Arms, but instead of being a weapon, a sword, it transforms itself into a shield, and it is the legendary shield that can block anything, the hardest shield among all the Digimon. So it passes by the ability to block, to defend your player. And the lore says that when Durundamon and Durundamon came together and focused their minds, they created a body of a righteous knight that they both imagined that could be the one that could that could brand both of them together. And by this imagination, Ragnar Lordmon was born, an almighty knight that could hold on to Durundamon as a sword and Durundamon as a shield, having the most powerful sword and the most powerful shield together. And his third ability shows that when digivolving, you may place one Durundamon or Durundamon on top of this Digimon's Digivolution cards to gain 3 memory. So he can have both of them. He can have 2 cards of Digimon's level 6 on this Digimon's Digivolution cards. So he can be amazingly powerful with that, because he will have piercing. He will inherit piercing from Durundamon to pierce through the opponent's block, the opponent's defenses, and also be able to block, because he himself has an ability called Reboot that is really almost always seen on black cards, because despite being a red card, he's kind of also black, because he can also digivolve on top of a black Digimon. And Ragnar Lordmon has Reboot that the ability functions just like that. When it comes the phase your opponent's turn, where they have the active phase where they unsuspend their Digimon, unflip their Digimon. You can also unflip and unsuspend Ragnar Lordmon because of the reboot. So he can attack, and at the end of the turn he will come back and become available to block and defend you. So he has defense and attack, and he has also security attack +1. He's really, really powerful. Really, really powerful. And the last but not less important, Omegamon. By almost all people already know, he's a fusion. He's a combination of War Greymon and Metal Garurumon. He's not a Geograss, like some medias say. He's not a Geograss. He's a combination. He's a Gatai fusion. Just like when Power Rangers robots join together, he's just that. A body of light creates between War Greymon and Metal Garurumon, and they combine themselves to become Omnimon. And here he has a really interesting ability that I'm going to talk about. But first, I want to show another black Digimon that he is actually a white card, but digivolves from a black. And it's Diaboromon. If you remember from the first ever Digimon movie, where Diaboromon was the villain, Diaboromon could create like thousands and thousands of clones of himself, and that's why he easily defeated Metal Garurumon and War Greymon with thousands of clones. And in this card game he can actually create the clones, because with his ability, when digivolving, you may play one Diaboromon token without paying its memory cost. And here it says the stats of the token. It's really weaker, but it's still a Diaboromon, and it's a clone. It can only this Diaboromon can only create clones when digivolving, but there are I guess 3 or 4 other cards of Diaboromon that can also create clones. I guess one of them can create clones when they come from security, the other can create clones when they attack, and there is Arata, that's a black tamer that can create Diaboromon clones. And there are a lot of things involving creating Diaboromon clones because of his ability of the movie. But in the movie, the one that could defeat Diaboromon was Omnimon in its debut. It was his first appearance. When he fused together, becoming Omegamon or Omnimon, it released a massive area attack that destroyed all the clones. And that's exactly what he does in the card game, because when he digivolves, you may choose one of your opponent's Digimon and then delete all of your opponent's Digimon that shares the name with it. So you can choose Diaboromon, delete it, and you will delete all Diaboromons on your opponent's field. resembles the ability to destroy the Durundamon clones that he showed on the movie, and that's simply amazing. He's a lot. He's really powerful. He shows up his ability and he crushes the opponents hard. He is a massive force. So that's why I bring him here, because he's red and kind of also blue, despite being a white card, because he digivolves from a red Digimon and a blue Digimon, and that's it. The other Digimon that I wanted to show is Metal Greymon Asteros mode, that becomes that triggers an ability when he digivolves into a Metal Greymon. It's the new form of Metal Greymon from the new Adventure series, Digimon Adventure series, the reboot, and it is really cool with his new arm. To finish up, I will show you some of the option cards from the red color. Option cards in this game are like spell cards on Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff, where you use, make the effect, and then discard it. So almost all the option cards are attacks from the Digimon themselves. So this is Omegamon's Grey Sword attack or Transcendent Sword that can delete a Digimon with 11,000 GP or less, or a Digimon with 50,000 GP or less, if you have a Greymon or an Omegamon on the field. And this is Gaia Force, the great power of War Greymon. Despite having a really high cost of 8, it can destroy any Digimon of your opponent, and it's really powerful. And for Metal Greymon's attack, one of them, the Giga Storm, can delete 2 of your opponent's Digimon with 8 DP or less, 8,000. War Greymon's Shield, that makes one of your Digimon become a blocker. And Atomic Inferno, that's Aldamon's hybrid power to gain 3000 DP in security +1, and if it is blocked, you gain 3 memory. Makes your opponents really aware not to block, or else you will gain more energy, more memory to work and digivolve even further. So this is some of the option cards, and I want to remember that you don't actually need to have the right Digimon of the image of the card to play this. You don't need to have the War Greymon on the field to use a Gaia Force. You just have to have any red card on the field to use. It can be used by any Digimon, or even if you have only a tamer. So that's how it works. And to finish up, I came with some of the tamers. Here's Marcus Daemon, the protagonist of Digimon Savers or Digimon 5, Digimon Data Squad, I guess, in America. And Taikamiya, the protagonist of Digimon Adventures 1, Sora Takenushi, one of his companions, and the older version of Tai from the Kizuna movie that has effects together with Agumon Bond of Bravery or Bond of Courage. and of course Takuya Kambara from Digimon Frontier, that even makes the hybrid Digimon even more powerful, because he is a rare tamer that has an inherited effect. Only the tamers from Digimon Frontier has inherited effects, and it can digivolve into Agnemon like he does in the series, because Agnemon says so. So that's really cool that you can just spirit evolution and dun, put the Agnemon card on top of Takuya. So that's it for today. The next list will be for the blue cards, and I'm going to do the same with all the 6 colors. There are first the red, then blue, then green, black, yellow, and purple. And I'm going to show you them all. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoy. Please leave a like and subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications to see more videos that are going to come. If you want to play with me, or if you have any doubt, you have any questions about anything of the card game, just leave in the comments below, and I'm going to see you in the next episode. Bye bye.